Hey, what's going on everybody? I'm Steven Santos from The Steven Show, and you're watching Book Review. It's a show with hot books and even hotter reviews. I was planning to film this video a few months ago after my first book review, but I got kind of tied up and ended up not reading as much as I wanted to. So the books I'm going to go through today are ones that I've read from October to March. That being said, it's not that many books. I'm going to be dropping spoilers for all 4 of these, so if you haven't read them, click away now and go read them. It's been a while, so hopefully I still remember the plots of these books. Guess we'll find out. So for our first 2 books, we have China Rich Girlfriend and Rich People Problems. These are the sequel books to Crazy Rich Asians, and I really enjoyed the first book, so I decided to check out the next 2. So, let's talk about China Rich Girlfriend first. I really enjoyed how Kevin Kwan set up this contrast between Rachel and Carlton. On one hand, you have Rachel, who figures out that she's actually super rich, even though she's been living her life as a not rich person. And then you have Carlton, who has basically known luxury all his life, so it's nothing new to him. I really enjoyed the settings of the book, and also how it took a deeper look into Rachel's character and her life, rather than trying to explore the intricacies of Nick's family, because family tree, trauma, yeah, you know what I mean. I thought the ending with Colette was kind of weird. It didn't really seem in character for her, and it might have just been me, but it seemed like the events of the book really weren't leading up to that. I guess it's just an example of how some characters end up disappointing you, even when you had really high hopes for them. So after I finished China Rich Girlfriend, I went on to Rich People Problems. And at first I was a little bit apprehensive just because they brought back the frickin' family tree. But in this book, I felt like the family dynamics were much more interesting than in Crazy Rich Asians, and for some reason I was able to keep up with all the relatives much more easily. Maybe because I was expecting it, maybe because the trauma had settled in and I was finally able to move past it, but who knows? Another thing I enjoyed about the book was how some parts of the story were told through email correspondence. I don't know why that stood out to me. Maybe just because it reminded me of like those early 2000s eras books where everything was written in the form of like texts between people or emails between people. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was a really nice conclusion to this series, and of course, I'm excited to see how the movies pan out, because the film version of Crazy Rich Asians really diverged from the ending of the book. So we'll see. These 2 books taken together get the rating Xiao Long Bao. Xiao Long Bao. Next up we have So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. This is the 4th or 5th book, I think, of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. If you haven't read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, please do. It's a great read. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a great read. The funny thing about So Long and Thanks for All the Fish is that even if you haven't read the other books, it would make just as much sense as if you had. Or just as little sense, I guess. This book features a lot more slice of life type stuff than the others. You don't have them traveling to other planets or visiting the end of the universe. It's just people living their lives like normal human people. It's a really funny book too. I haven't picked up the series in years, I think, and I'd forgotten how bizarre but humorous the tone is. It's a kind of book where you have no idea what's happening, but you still catch yourself having a sensible chuckle every now and then. If you ever watch the film adaptation of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you'll notice they have a musical number titled So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. It's a bop. It's not really relevant to our book review discussion, but I thought I should mention it anyway. Alright. Last book. For our final book, we have 1984 by George Orwell. This is a book that everyone and their mother has read, so you probably know what happens, but just in case you don't, I'll spell it out for you. 1984 is set in this kind of super state called Oceania, which is ruled by an organization called the Party. Our protagonist, Winston Smith, is a sort of oldish guy who's not really one of the higher members, but not really like a lower member too. He's sort of just like in the middle. And even though all his compatriots love the Party and love its leader, Big Brother, Winston isn't really a fan of all that. So he tries to keep his disloyalty to the Party a secret, which It was about as well as you can imagine. This book has received a lot of critical acclaim, and it's pretty easy to see why. A lot of the stuff they talk about is still relevant today, although I'm not really going to go into that because I am not nearly qualified enough to talk about any of that. In any case, even when I was reading it, I could tell that the ending would be pretty depressing. A lot of books now are set up so that you're guaranteed to get a happy ending, but back in the day, it was pretty popular to end your novels on a not so nice note. Just look at Of Mice and Men, or Slaughterhouse-Five, or But yeah, I was kind of hoping it would end in that depressing way. The depressing ending was, of course, the only way to get the point of the book across. And once again, I'm not qualified enough to figure out what the point of the book was. But the last thing I wanted to do though was compare it to a book that it's been compared to a lot in the past. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Brave New World is different from 1984 in the sense that it sets up a totalitarian society through pleasure and stimulation rather than coercion and oppression. So in Brave New World you have a utopian dystopia, while in 1984 you have a dystopian utopia. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. In any case, 1984 is a great read, and I think it's a book everyone should try out. Like The Lorax, or Mr. Brown Can Moo. Can you? Although in my opinion, I much prefer the sequel released by Bowling for Soup, 1985. And yes, I know that SR71 did the original, so don't come at me with your fact-checking. That about wraps it up for this episode of Book Review. Did any actual reviewing get done? Not really, but I had fun, and I hope you had fun too. If you didn't, then they can't all be winners, pal. I would put a list of all the books I'm gonna read next, but I'm probably not gonna get to them for a while, so I don't think there'd really be a point to it. Anyway, if you have any good books I should read, let me know, and I'll try to make some time for them. Because I really love reading, but I don't really have that much time for it anymore. It's very sad. Anyway, don't forget to leave a thumbs up for 2 + 2 = 4, and a thumbs down for 2 + 2 = 5. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Next month's videos will be better, I promise. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.